Have you ever met a woman who always had to be the center of attention? She could twist every conversation back to herself, take over group dynamics, and somehow always manage to make you feel smaller, less seen, less heard. That at first, you might have thought she was just charismatic but over time, her presence left you drained, confused, and emotionally burned out. If that sounds familiar, you may have dealt with a narcissistic woman. Hi, in my previous video, we dove deep into the world of narcissistic men, their signs, the damage they cause, and how to protect yourself. But narcissism doesn't wear just one face. Women can be just as narcissistic as men, even if they present it differently. In fact, they often do. Today I want to walk you through the key signs of narcissism in women, how it shows up in daily life and relationships, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Let's get into it. What is narcissism? Narcissism is a personality style marked by grandiosity, a need for excessive admiration, and a serious lack of empathy. There's a spectrum. Not everyone who's a little self-absorbed is a narcissist. Some narcissistic traits are normal in small doses. But when those traits become intense, consistent, and hurtful to others, it can evolve into something deeply toxic, and in some cases, even clinical, such as narcissistic personality disorder. It's important to make a clear distinction. Confidence is not narcissism. There's nothing wrong with being confident or ambitious. A confident woman lifts herself up. A narcissistic woman tears others down to feel taller. Signs of a narcissistic woman now. Let's go through some key signs, and how they often show up in women. These aren't just generalizations, they're patterns. 1. Grandiose sense of self-importance. She believes she is uniquely important, special, even superior, and expects others to recognize this without question. She'll talk up minor achievements like they're groundbreaking, and expect admiration for simply existing, and unlike the loud, boastful arrogance we often see in men, her grandiosity might be veiled, disguised behind social charm, self-deprecating humor, or humble brags. She might say things like, "I just don't relate to average people anymore," or "I always knew I was meant for more than this." 2. Obsession with fantasies of beauty, power, or ideal love. While male narcissists might fantasize about domination or legacy, female narcissists often dream of being adored for their beauty, their status, or their ideal romance. She may be consumed with thoughts of fame, perfect love, or a lavish lifestyle. You'll hear her talk constantly about manifesting the perfect man, becoming or living the dream life in Paris. But behind the fantasy is a deep dissatisfaction with real life, and a refusal to take responsibility for building anything meaningful. 3. Belief that she's special and above the rules. She thinks she operates on a different level. Only high-status people are worth her time. She might say things like, "None of my friends really get me," or "I need to be around people who match my energy." This is similar to male narcissists who crave elite company, but with women, it often shows up as social snobbery or queen bee syndrome. 4. Craves constant admiration and validation. She thrives on compliments. Whether it's her looks, her taste, her wisdom, or her energy, she wants people to notice and praise it always. She posts pictures, then checks obsessively for likes and comments. She fish for compliments or become moody when no one notices her new haircut, outfit, or achievement. And if someone else is in the spotlight, you can practically feel the jealousy radiating from her. 5. Entitlement. She believes the world owes her special treatment. She expects people to make exceptions for her, cater to her needs, and read her mind, whether it's skipping the line, demanding attention at a party, or expecting her friends to drop everything for her. She treats others like they exist to serve her, and when they don't, she's quick to accuse them of being selfish, disrespectful, or not real friends. This is similar to entitlement we see in narcissistic men, but in women. It can show up more covertly, often laced with emotional manipulation or guilt-tripping. 6. Manipulates and exploits others. She uses charm, guilt, and even her own vulnerability to control people. She might act helpless to get support, cry to escape consequences, or flatter someone just enough to secure a favor. You may not even notice it at first. She seems sweet, maybe even kind, but over time, you realize that people orbit around her needs. While she gives very little in return, she doesn't build friendships. She builds power dynamics. 7. Lack of empathy. She struggles to understand or care about other people's emotions. A friend is struggling. She may listen for a moment, then quickly change the subject back to herself. If someone confronts her, she may respond with cold detachment, a fake apology, or full-blown victimhood. You leave the interaction feeling unheard, invalidated, or even blamed. And the worst part? She genuinely doesn't see the problem. 8. Envy and belief. That others envy her. She's either jealous of others or convinced everyone is jealous of her. If someone gets a promotion, she'll say it was luck or favoritism. If a friend receives compliments, she'll try to outshine them or dismiss it. She twists every success into a threat, either by attacking it or making it all about her. And often, she'll claim that people can't handle her light or are just insecure around her. 9. Arrogance and condescension. She acts superior, not just in private, but openly. She may belittle service workers, talk down to friends, or interrupt others constantly. She assumes her time, her plans, and her ideas matter more than anyone else's. And when challenged, she'll either lash out or play the victim, never taking responsibility. 10. Narcissist. As a mother, the impact on children. Being raised by a narcissistic mother can have lifelong consequences. She sees her children less as people to love and nurture, and more as extensions of herself or tools to serve her ego. At first glance, she might appear devoted or supermom to outsiders, but at home, the love is often conditional. Her affection depends on the child meeting her emotional needs, living up to her image, or making her look good. She may demand perfection, pushing the child to achieve for her pride, dismiss, or belittle feelings that don't fit her narrative. With her own daughter, treating her as a rival instead of a child, guilt trip or shame her kids for expressing needs. Use emotional manipulation to maintain control. Growing up with a narcissistic mother can leave deep wounds. Children often struggle with low self-esteem, chronic guilt, people-pleasing tendencies, or confusion about their own worth. They may spend years unlearning the belief that love must be earned through performance or sacrifice. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking the cycle so that future generations don't have to carry the same pain. How these traits show up in everyday life. These signs don't just live in big dramatic moments. They show up in small, repeated behaviors. She might dominate conversations, never asking how others are doing, react with fury to minor slights or criticism, constantly compare herself to others, and tear them down. Use charm when it suits her, then ice people out without warning, gaslight people into believing they're the problem. You start to feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly adjusting your words, energy, and priorities around her needs. Impact on relationships and romantic or close personal relationships. A narcissistic woman often begins with what feels like magic. She showers you with affection, admiration, and attention. You feel lucky, chosen, but that's the hook, the love bombing phase. Once she feels secure, she begins the shift. Criticism creeps in, emotional distance grows. Your faults are highlighted, while hers are ignored. She may gaslight you, manipulate you, or even isolate you from others. And when you stop feeding her ego, she discards you, sometimes coldly, sometimes dramatically, but always with the message that you were the problem. The cycle of idealize, devalue, and discard leaves many people confused, anxious, and deeply hurt. What you can do about it. So, what can you do if you think someone in your life fits this pattern? 1. Learn the patterns. The first step is awareness. Narcissists thrive in confusion and emotional fog, but once you name the behaviors, you take away their power. Point 2. Set and enforce boundaries. Decide what's acceptable to you and stick to it. You don't owe anyone endless access to your time, energy, or emotions. 3. Don't engage in their gamadan. Try to you outmaneuver or seek closure from them. They don't want resolution. They want control. Step away from the tug-of-war. 4. Talk to someone, a therapist, a support group, or a friend who understands can be life-saving. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive, and you are not alone. 5. Know when to walk away. Some people won't change because they don't think they need to. If the relationship drains you more than it fills you, give yourself permission to let go. Final thoughts. Dealing with a narcissistic woman can be incredibly disorienting. She may not scream or rage. She may smile while she slices, but the emotional scars she leaves are real, and they matter. You deserve to be seen, heard, respected, and safe. If someone consistently takes from you, invalidates you, and manipulates your reality, that's not love. That's control. Trust your gut. Educate yourself. And never forget your peace is more important than anyone's approval. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you've dealt with someone like this, share your experience in the comments. Your voice might help someone else feel a little less alone. Thanks for watching.